p.m. on AM 950 WWJ. Red Wings at Tampa tonight right here on the ticket. That'll be just after 7 p.m. LSU suspends men's basketball coach Will Wade indefinitely amid reports about his conversations with a person convicted last year of funneling money to the families of basketball recruits. And it's Tommy Fleetwood and Keegan Bradley, the co-leaders heading to the third round of the PG's Arnold Palmer Invitational. Tiger Woods decided not to play due to a boo-boo on his neck. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson from more 97.1theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Alrighty, welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside me, we got this jam-packed. This is a professional, Andy Dirks. There he is.
What's up, everybody?
Top real estate agent extraordinaire, of course, from Clarkston with Berkshire Hathaway. It's great to have you, Andy. Of course, former Detroit Tiger, and I think this time of year, we're starting to feel like spring's coming around, Andy, so it's apropos that you would be a guest here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show for sure.
The most wonderful time of the year. You know, my boys are down in Florida, and we're still in, obviously, I'm in Detroit full time now. I was doing a walkthrough for one of the guys on a rental place. He said, "Is there still snow there?" I said, "Oh, yeah. We're going to get some snow for a while, my man."
So awesome. Hey, Title Partners is here, too. Sean Locke. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Harvey. Happy to be here today.
All righty. Thanks for joining us. Really going to have some fun with you guys. March 9, 2019. Of course, we bring you 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show from Capital Mortgage Funding, of course, is our sponsor. 1-800-LOW-RATE is where you find that strong approval letter. If you're looking to consolidate that, definitely give us a call at Capital Mortgage, or live here in the studio, 248-539-9797. Always lots to talk about. You know, Andy, we talk often about how athletics and sports really translates into daily habits and everything that we do. And, you know, I sort of wanted to start off the show just with that a little bit because, you know, you got that work ethic. You bring that athletic, what you learned from being a professional athlete, and you bring that into the real estate world. Give us a little bit about what your daily routine is and how you go about things.
Yeah, us as humans, we're creatures of habit, good and bad, right? I think it's harder to change a bad habit than to create a good one at a young age. Fortunately, through athletics, you're forced to create good habits. Wake up early, work out, go do the right things, accountable, on time, respectable. You learn how to lose and handle losing. You learn how to go into a listing appointment, and when you don't get the listing, you go to the next one, and you're still crushing it for your other clients. My daily routine goes about like this. I try to wake up at 5, get a Bible study in. Next thing I do, I'm making breakfast for my two bigs. I call them. We have a 4-month-old and the two bigs, making breakfast there. Get them all squared away, wash the dishes for Mama. I'm at the office by 9 o'clock sharp, 9:30 latest. Then from there, we're making phone calls. We're looking at paperwork. My assistant Samantha's rolling hard. She's getting after it, and then setting up appointments throughout the day, trying to build. It comes down to this: building great relationships, working your tail off for every client, and building a relationship that they can really genuinely trust you and trust that you're doing the best job for them possible. And that's what we're about, and that's why I continue every day. I still learn. We're still taking classes. Every day is a learning experience, and then just taking calculated exams at everything we've done throughout the day and how can we get better.
Well, Andy, I think you nailed it there with the truth of the matter is there's no shortcut to success. You know, hard work is what it comes down to, and athletes learn that really quick, and the best athletes are normally the ones that push themselves the hardest. I've been lucky enough in my career to coach 8 different pro athletes and win a national championship in basketball. So I've learned the same way you have to learn how to push myself, and really the real estate game is not much different than sports if you learn how to push yourself and take it to the next level.
Yeah, whatever aspect, whether it be on the real estate side, mortgage, or title work, you're out there meeting, building relationships, Sean. And, of course, Andy, you guys are at the grindstone every day. A lot of fun things out there in real estate. I really think that after I always tell clients, hey, how do we make this fun and exciting? We already have the pressure of finding the house and selling the other one, and we got this inspection, appraisal, a lot of moving parts, we say. But how do we make it fun, exciting, and at the end of the day, you're shaking hands, hugging at the closing table. That's always what I enjoy about the process. So again, if you're out there thinking about getting your house sold, if you're thinking about definitely buying a house, give us a phone call and here on the show. We'd love to get you started with that. Again, there's no obligation. Give us a call. I'd like to hear about what you got going on at 248-539-9797. Of course, other life lessons, Andy, that sort of work into everyday stuff with us. You got your podcast out there.
Yeah.
Get your game right. I like that, and I think it's, this morning we said we were going to talk about mortgages, real estate, maybe throwing a little baseball. But there's no doubt about kids sitting around here all winter, man. We get long winter here, but you just can't hit the ball field. In other words, it's just the same way in real estate. You can't just wake up one morning and think out there, building respect, closing some transactions with a lot of people out there that get your name out there.
Yeah, without a doubt. The fruit doesn't come until after the labor, right? With the Get Your Game Right stuff, it's really it's a podcast at this point. We do some other stuff as well. I want young kids to understand that baseball as a whole, whichever trends, whichever ways the baseball community is going, and I've seen a lot. I've seen it, the importance of, your swing has to be like this, or you have to field a ball this way, and I've seen that all change too, and then go back to what it was, and then change. The biggest factor that I've seen from successful people is what's between the ears. Who can deal with the failure, who can learn to push through the times when it's not as fun, and knowing that in the end result's going to be great for them. That's what Get Your Game Right's about, and that's it comes over into my real estate business, and with my clients. Like you said, you want to be excited. Buying a house is so exciting.
Yeah,
it should be so fun. I'm like
signing your name on a couple $100,000 usually.
And we're going to go look at houses. Looking at houses is a blast. You finally get to live that HGTV dream of going and looking at houses with me as your realtor, and let's enjoy it. And I see sometimes, people get strenuous, they get excitable, and it's our job, Harvey, me and you, as professionals in the industry, whoever's working the deal, to just educate them enough that they can stay excited and really enjoy that experience and not get so stressed out. Are we making a good decision or not?
Yeah, you know, definitely some bumps on the road on any transaction. You could run into a situation where maybe the house doesn't appraise out, or maybe something comes up on the inspection. Boy, oh boy, I got this one couple, and every house they find is having a failed septic system. And I hope if they're listening this morning, they're shaking their hands going, boy, Harvey, I asked them, I said, well, is there any way you could find a home with city water and city sewer? They said, no, we got some vehicle. We got some ATV vehicle. We want to be in the outskirts where we got some land, and we don't want to be right on top of each other. So, again, every situation.
Well, that's where it's even more important to have a professional working with you. You know, this industry is not perfect. There are lots of things that come up throughout the process that we're not ready for, or as a new buyer, you're not experienced to handle. But if you have a loan officer, a realtor who will pick up their phone, explain to you what's going on. In our industry, time does not heal all wounds. It creates more anxiety.
Okay,
so when Harvey picks up the phone at 9:30 at night and answers your question, you can sleep. You can move forward. You feel confident that you're going to get this resolved.
Sean, we said we're going to talk a little bit about title insurance and what that really is. So people can definitely keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. Again, lots of information this morning. Again, 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We talk mortgages, real estate, and this morning a little bit of title insurance too. That's a necessary evil that we'll talk about. You got to get it.
The finish line, right? It's the finish line of the transaction.
You're the people we see at the closing table, Sean. You're the guy telling, hey, you got to sign here, sign there. So definitely want to throw that in there. Hey, thanks to a little drop in the rates really in the last 2 months here, we've seen really a brisk beginning of 2019. Consumer buying powers out there, couples, single families, empty nesters. Some of the data showed us that this cold winter, that the housing prices just dropped a little bit in December. And again, if your house has been on the market for 3 or 4 months and you're not getting those offers, maybe it's time to sort of sit back and maybe get a second or third opinion on that. Usually, Andy, I think it shapes down to the price. At the end of the day, it is the price compared to what's going on in the neighborhood. When you see a house that's been on the market for 3 or 4 months, you're thinking your buyers, there could be an opportunity here, or maybe something's wrong. They're not explaining it to us.
Yeah, I think that's starting to shift just a little bit. It's slowed down. We push the prices. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown as far as people willing and able to pay that top premium dollar, especially with condition. And right now we're seeing a lot of those houses that we're selling with a little subpar condition at top market values, those houses are starting to stay on the market a little longer. Not necessarily because there's something wrong with them, but they need an upgrade. They need some paint. They need some carpet. They need maybe the roof's 20 years old. It's getting towards the end, so we can't give you top dollar for that. The really, really nice ones still getting great money. Still getting great money.
We have that buying frenzy again here in the spring of 2019. Spring's just around the corner. Of course, we're going to spring forward a little bit later this evening. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. When we come back, all of your calls.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
The donut. Oh, welcome back to the show. There we are. 9:15 if you're just joining us. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding.
You almost missed your interlude talking about donuts, Hardy.
We're talking about donuts. Anyways, we're talking about actually meeting people across the country. And again, we're going to be talking about second homes. And a little bit of conversation came up about I was down in Florida, and sure enough, a couple of neighbors started. The one guy made the donuts at one of the local cider mills. It's called the donut. Oh, welcome back to the show. There we are. 9:15 if you're just joining us. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding.
You almost missed your interlude talking about donuts, Hardy.
We're talking about donuts. Anyways, we're talking about actually meeting people across the country. And again, we're going to be talking about second homes. And a little bit of conversation came up about I was down in Florida, and sure enough, a couple of neighbors started coming my way, Harry. And the one guy made the donuts at one of the local cider mills. It's called Parmentiers. Is that what the one in Northville? Okay. And I'm like, what? You're famous. And here he was down there. Yeah, great place, great place. Anyways, we're going to take all your calls here, 248-539-9797. In fact, we'll go to our first call today. We've got Larry calling in from a cell phone, if we get that. There we go. Hey, Larry, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. How are you today?
Real good. What's happening?
We was just listening to the show, and we're curious on home inspections because my son bought a flip house in Columbus, and the realtor is, it's required by the realtor. And the inspector missed about everything he could miss, from a leaky sump pump to leaky plumbing to light switches with nothing at the other end of them. Is there any way to go back on the realtor or inspector? My son's had thousands of dollars in repairs on things that any inspector would have caught. How do you know do you have to hire your own or rely on the realtor? What do you do?
Well, on an inspection, that's up to you to get the inspection, and you can't really go back on the realtor. Now, what I would ask you when you entered the purchase agreement, was there a seller's disclosure stating anything wrong with the property? So it's all about disclosure on that. That's number one. Number two is that I'm not an attorney. I don't play well on the radio. Here's the however. It's up to you to go ahead and hire an independent inspector. That's on you. So let's just say in this example, you hired the inspector. The inspector is your guy. He's on your team, and he's working on behalf of you. He goes in that house, and he doesn't find anything, in his opinion, doesn't write in his report. And guess what? You've had all these faulty things go on in the property. Now, again, all my attorney friends out there, please call me up, and let's advise this guy properly. That's between you and your independent inspector. The realtor has nothing to do with it. I mean, if the seller didn't disclose, that's another story. Now you could go back to the seller. But again, I want to open it up to all of our real estate attorney friends, and I would tell you that it's all about disclosure. The seller's got to disclose on the seller's disclosure, but if you're hiring that independent inspector, that's between you and the inspector.
But Larry, go ahead, Larry.
In this instance, my son lived in Lexington and was buying this house to move to work.
Right.
And he didn't know anyone in Columbus, so he left it up to his realtor to hire the inspector because he wouldn't even know who to call.
I understand.
So his realtor called the inspector, and to be honest with you, based on what wasn't found from the plumbing underneath the kitchen sink not being hooked up properly.
Boy, oh boy.
No, I
I don't
understand.
know what he looked at.
Right, but the
Could have you celebrating with tickets to an upcoming home game. Brought to you by Chevrolet, official vehicle of the Detroit Red Wings.
Music Town Detroit is our new venue on the second floor of Hockeytown Cafe in downtown Detroit. It's got a state-of-the-art recording studio that's available to local musicians at no charge, and it has a lounge with national artist performances every week. If you haven't been to Music Town Detroit, here's what you've missed. John Oates and the Jacksons came by for exclusive interviews. Casey Musgraves taught a master class about the music industry. Demi Lovato was there. We threw huge parties before the Shania Twain, Journey, and Zach Brown concerts, plus a bunch more. Get more info on Music Town Detroit at musictowndetroit.com. The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATES, where you find us at Capital. And, of course, we're live in the studio, 248-539-9797. That's the sun shining behind me. Of course, we're on Facebook Live if you want to check it out, the Hardcore Mortgage Show.
We're finally in March Madness, right, Harvey?
Oh, we're getting there for sure. We got, tons of sports coming on. I love this time of year. Of course, we got baseball just around the corner.
We got Michigan State tonight, too.
That's going to be sort of the buzz around here.
Big Ten championship.
A lot of fun stuff. Of course, I'm going to get down to Detroit. I got a wedding to get to, so it's really fun. But here we bring in Andy Dirks, a former Detroit Tiger, realtor extraordinaire. It's just been fun to even talk with you, Andy, over the last year. We got a chance to meet each other. I'm just starting maybe to do a little bit of business. We're not going to do everything together, but we're going to do some business together.
Absolutely.
Build that relationship, hopefully have a lot of great clients and relationships along the way. That's what really makes it fun. And, of course, there's a lot of good things going out there. It's home buying season. Not that it ever slows down here in Michigan. And we saw a little tail off in December, January, but already gangbusters. The phones are ringing off the hook at our office. And one of the things is sort of finding your place in the mortgage world. We have so many opportunities out there, but families, Andy, and you'll see this a lot, is they want to sell the house.
Yeah.
They want to make that move. It's the timing. So the first thing we need to do is sort of determine whether or not you qualify to purchase and make an offer on a new house. Can you close on that new house and then sell your old house, the existing current home? Of course, can you sell that down the road? Maybe it ends up being a month or two later. And all that goes into that timing, Andy. Give me a little bit about that when you sit down with the family. I mean, again, once we determine that they have to sell the house, do we start doing the research on how long it takes to sell their current home?
Absolutely. Everybody's situation is completely unique. It depends on stage of life, kids, not kids, 2 homes, 1 home. So we really need to sit down, cater a game plan for you specifically. And that's why working with other people, like if me and Harvey work together, it's going to be very easy for us to communicate and put that game plan into action for you. One of the biggest things I see a lot of people do now is they come to me after they're pre-approved. So I don't know the lender specifically. I've worked with some great ones that way, but I've also had some serious issues that way where I'm trying to get on the same page as these people, and they're not the same quality. They don't bring the game like I bring it, right? It's hard to get a hold of them on the weekends. When you call them, you try to set up a meeting, they're still asleep at 10:30 in the morning. And it's frustrating when I go to a client's house and I tell them these things, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get you pre-approved. We're going to write an offer contingent on the sale of your house. That's what this means. Here's the different scenarios from point A to point B for you. And not be in full communication with everybody in a transaction.
Yeah, keeping things really smooth there. And again, whether or not you're considering selling your house this year, find out ahead of time, because there could be a little situation where you don't close on the one house. And all this housing stuff that we do, Sean, it's always domino effect. Of course, you're at the closing table, and how often they're rushing you through because you got to close at 11 o'clock before the 1 o'clock closing starts.
It's huge, and it happens all the time. The key to that is communication. During this process, if you have an agent who's communicating with the title company, explaining how to get the wires in, how to get things set up for the success of getting to your new home, because that's ultimately what people really care about, is getting to that new home.
Yeah, we definitely want to take your calls this morning. 248-539-9797. Always here live in the studio. And again, if you got something to add, whether you're selling your house or you're buying your house, do you qualify? Not only do you qualify for the new house, do you have the funds to close on the new house? Now, so often, some of the families that I've been working with lately, they're just working with, at the end of the day, we want to, and they can close on the new house and just put 5% down, or they might have to borrow against their 401k. What you're able to do out there, and this goes with Capital Mortgage, but many lenders do offer this, is to the ability to recast the loan once the house is sold. So again, if you're able to close on the house, and if you tell someone, look, I can't close, or it's contingent upon my existing house being sold, you're not going to get your offer accepted.
Usually not.
Especially going into June right now,
Yeah. You got to get it rolling. You got to get the process rolling and understand that there's going to be an influx of houses coming into the market.
Hey, if you got to borrow the money against your 401k, once you sell your house, you can take that lump sum and pay it back right into your 401k. Again, if you want to recast the loan, if you only put down 5% or 3%, whatever the amount is to get into that new house, once you sell your house, you got a big chunk of money. You can decide how to go ahead with those funds. A lot of times, a family will come to me and say, you know what, Harvey, I was going to go 20% down the whole time, but now I want to go 10% because this house that we have, it does have some things that we'd rather go after now. They're borrowing the money inexpensively. Of course, PMI on a conventional loan falls off the loan. So they might go ahead and, let's just use for a $250,000 house. If you can keep 10% in your pocket, well, that's your $25,000 you're going to use to go ahead and redo the kitchen.
With whatever you want to do.
The moving expenses.
College, whatever.
Everything.
There's a lot of ways you can use that money. And this is one thing that's really scary for me is getting a client not knowing the lender. I come in, I ask them a few questions like, do you know how much it's going to cost to close? How much money you need to bring, you might possibly have to bring to closing? No idea. Do you know what your monthly mortgage payment might be? No idea. They're pre-approved, but they have no idea. And I'm like, well, because the first thing I look at, I'm not the money guy. So I need to make sure that the money person's telling them what they need to know. So I say, do you know how much you want to spend per month? Were you renting before? What you're doing, right? Then what most people, especially first-time home buyers, don't understand is it costs money to maintain a home.
Yes.
You don't want to over-leverage yourself and get in a position where you're house poor. You don't. But there's plenty of ways to do it to not put yourself in that position, right? And a lot of it comes from an experienced lender to be able to give you the information, because I constantly am telling my people, go back and talk to the lender on that. Go back and talk to the lender. They're asking me the questions that a lender should be supplying for them, thinking I have the answers for that, which I can give them an answer, but I would rather their lender tell them because I don't know the way their lender practices.
Exactly. These are all great points out there. Again, if you're just listening to the show, it's a Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're going to give you 1 hour of real estate talk. If you're buying or selling a house, you need a mortgage, definitely this would be a good show. Give us a call, 248-539-9797. Yeah, so often and I like hearing this from agents too, and whether you've been an agent for 25, 30, 45 years or just a handful of years, there's no doubt when we hear pre-approved, to me, I give approval letters. And it might be the only things that's pre is, subject to maybe the appraisal, the title insurance, all the heavy duty stuff. But the clients are ready to go. They're approved. They have the income to qualify. They have the funds to close, and they have the confidence and knowledge. So when something comes up on a transaction, they understand it. And you know what, Andy? The knowledge gives you not only the confidence, but it gives you that relaxed feeling and to move forward knowing that you're doing the right thing for your family.
That's right. Without a doubt. Confidence in knowing what's going to happen lets you put your head on the pillow at night. That's what I say. I want you to be able to put your head on the pillow and not stress out about we're a week from close. You still don't have a clue what you're getting into or what's happening. You're having second thoughts. Like, that's not a good scenario to be in. If you find yourself there, you need to start making phone calls to your people, and they should be able to help you, supply you with some of those answers at this point. If you haven't started the process, get with a good crew. Get with a good group.
They should be answering their phone. That's the biggest thing. And we find that so much in the title. We get to the end, and people are calling Kaylee at the office and saying, hey, I don't have a number. Well, where's your lender in this process?
Okay.
We do not want to overstep. We want to help. We want to inform. At Title Partners, our big thing, and kind of echoing what you've been saying, Harvey, is solutions, not excuses.
Okay.
Let's get there. How do we help you? How do we get you to the closing table?
How do you make this really smooth and easy? And like we said, keep some fun and excitement in it for everyone
involved. We want it to be enjoyable. We want people smiling at the closing table, not arguing or fighting or having to separate the rooms. because that home purchase should be an enjoyable time.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
It's a lot more fun going to look at houses if you know you can make an offer on one.
Oh man, isn't
a
that the
strong
greatest
offer?
thing?
A
That is-
strong offer.
Strong offer. Know that your family's ready to go.
baby.
And the seller, everyone involved appreciates it. The
Yes.
other agents, the domino effect. The sellers, of course, are buying another house. Their people appreciate.
Yes.
that you called the right people and you have that confidence, and you're moving forward with some, that confidence, making the right moves. What other great stuff do we got? Many financial experts always say that renting a home, well, that's not the way to go. Owning a home is a great first step to creating some great wealth here. And, of course, across Southeast Michigan and across the United States, so many families that have bought in the last 5 to 8 years. Congratulations, folks. You did the right thing, and you should have a ton of equity. And that's just all about it. If you can buy a house, if it goes up in value, if it becomes something that is equitable for your family.
Money.
Sounds
Come
good
on.
to me. All right, when we come back, we got tons to share with you. Come on back with your calls, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
The Ticket.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's 9:30. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Yeah, just for another 30 minutes or so. Now we're going to have Pat Caputo coming in with sports all day long here on 97.1 The Ticket. Keep it here. Lots of great stuff. We got about another 30 minutes or so. We take your calls, 248-539-9797. We brought in Kyle Lang from RE/MAX Dream Properties. Of course, they got the Northville, South Line, Livonia office. He works anywhere in Southeast Michigan. I'm really enjoying all our conversations. If there's someone in the office just like you, can you introduce them to me? Because I'd like to.
There's only one me.
There's only one of you.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so we'll go, in that case.
Boy, I bet your mom and dad are happy about that.
I met his younger brother last weekend. There's two of them.
Oh, there's two of them. Hey, let's roll out to William out in Richmond, remodeling to improve value of your house. William, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Really good. Thanks for calling in. What's happening?
Sure. So my question for you is, I have an older home, about 130 years old. I still have a lot of like a log that has joists in my basement, and we have a company coming in a couple weeks. We're doing we're basically replacing all the foundation, all the joists, load-bearing beams, footers, all that's getting redone.
Yeah.
My question for you is, obviously that has to be done because it's an old home, but what does that do for value? If it does anything for value, or do I just have to get it done to get it done?
I mean, it's going to keep the house going. I mean, I don't think adding new, beams and foundation and joists are going to really add anything as like sellers coming in and saying, hey, this is an upgrade. It's like a new roof, right? You already have a roof. You put a new roof on.
They expect that when you buy a house. I mean,
it's going to help sell, right? It's going to be a great selling feature that is going to help say, hey, this house has more durability because of what we've done. It's not going to fall apart on you. So I think, yes, you have to do it. It's going to help you sell when you're ready, but I don't think it's going to add a ton of value.
Any certain value.
Okay, I was just curious. I figured that was the case with it.
Hey, Bill, William, are you're gonna stay there? Obviously, you're doing the improvements because you're staying in the home for a while, right?
Yeah. We're not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. We're doing basically a full remodel through the entire house. I just have to do this before I can move forward with anything else.
Just curious, what type of dollar are you looking at to complete the foundation, the joists, and all that? What is it?
$18,000.
Yep.
I'm doing the electrical and the HVAC myself.
Okay, well, good. Hey, congratulations. You're doing the right thing. You obviously enjoy the older home. It's got the charm, and they can't make them like that anymore. And I think what you're doing makes a lot of sense. So often we'll run into families that have to sell that 130-year-old home or that older home, and they haven't kept up or done these repairs, and they don't get anything for the house. So it's quite the opposite of what we would want. We definitely want you to do what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a client actually just recently.
Thanks a lot for the call, Bill.
Just a client out of the state of Michigan. So that's one of the cool things about working for a company like RE/MAX is we're able to help people all around. And I had a friend that they were buying a home in Indiana, and it was an older home like that, and there were some foundation issues, and it wasn't able to pass city inspection because of the foundation issues. So that current owner had not put that money into the house, and it ended up costing him the ability to sell the home.
Well, we had a little bit of a slowdown, as Harry mentioned, just for it's like 3 weeks in there. So maybe someone turned off the faucet around December 10th or so. But things are jamming again. As we mentioned, it seems like the faucet's on full throttle now. Spring home buying season, really officially, March 20th is officially spring, 3 weeks away from that. The showings, though, you're getting the showings. Everything I'm hearing this morning, and we spoke to agents over the last couple of weeks, is yes, this is going to be a robust home buying season in Southeast Michigan, although the numbers might say that things are a little bit off from last year, but the last 3 years have been record years. If you're considering home ownership, get your ducks in a row. That's the key. Find out what it takes to get it closed, how much money's involved. Of course, the MSHDA program, John, is still available. Now, there's 2 MSHDA programs out. There's lots of MSHDA programs out there, but the $15,000 program earlier this week,
Now available for download. Always Aggravated. A Mike Valenti signature podcast. Get it on radio.com and Apple iTunes.
97.1 The Ticket.
welcome back to the show, 9:30. If you're just joining us, it's March 9, 2019. Listen to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can find us at Capital 1-800-LOW-RATE all the time, but here in the studio, 248-539-9797. Of course, we got Andy Dirks in here, who's a great real estate agent up in the Clarkston area. You might know Andy, of course, a 276 hitter. I hope we can get that kind of production out of left field this year, Andy. We'll talk some baseball for sure today.
That'd be good.
All right. Hey, we got our fingers crossed definitely for 2019 Tiger season. But keep it here because we got tons of sports right after our show. But first, let's go out to Bob in Clarkston. Hey, Bob, got a great question about listing a house. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is Bob in Clarkston. We've got our home listed. And in the meantime, we're building a house in another area in Michigan. Currently not happy with the realtor agent that we signed with last month, and we're looking possibly to make a change. But there's a lot of different types of realtors out there. There's HomeLight, and there's Redix, and, advertising on the radio of 1% fees and things. I wonder if you can walk us through what the state of situation is with, the different types of agencies and how much you should be thinking to spend.
Absolutely. So basically, with the influx of technology comes a lot of different styles of brokerages. You get them all the way from more of a traditional brokerage, like a Berkshire Hathaway, all the way to like an EXP, which is a little more of a online brokerage. They don't have physical addresses, only one in the state. That's all they need, one in the area. And then you go to the really, really like the 1% brokers of, hey, we'll put your house on the MLS and let it ride type brokerages. I think what most people don't realize is you do pay for what you get. So at Berkshire Hathaway, the basic commission rate, 7% to start with. Everything's negotiable in real estate, but we do that based on what Berkshire Hathaway pays to get your property marketed and exposed, get you real access to agents who can walk through your property, give you real feedback. A lot of people in this industry are smoke blowers. They'll walk through and say, yep, everything looks good. All they want to do is get that house on the market as quickly as possible and hope that and pray that another agent brings a buyer in that's willing to purchase the home. Then you go into inspection. Things fall apart. All this stuff happens. So real expectations up front are very necessary. That's why you should always, reach out to a couple different agents. Get a good fit for you and your family.
Hey, Bob, I was wondering, as you mentioned this, you got your house listed. What is, and again, don't drop their name if you're not satisfied with them, but what is the number one problem that you find as you're listing? You got your house listed. How long has it been on the market for?
Only about 3 weeks.
Now, you said you're building a house, so let me ask you, I came with a full price offer, are you inclined to sell now, move out, and then, of course, your house isn't going to be done? Are you okay with that?
We can work that out, yeah.
Okay, so what's the, if you had to throw a couple things out there, so maybe any agents listening out there, don't do this. Bob, what are they doing that's not working for you?
Well, they brought somebody in and said, okay, we need to remarket your house, and you need to, take this down, take the furniture out, do this and do that, make it look like nobody lives there, basically. It's just kind of annoying that
yeah.
we're still living in the house and, putting a bread box away and, taking the coffee pot off the counter. I mean, it's just, I don't know, they're trying to...
Staging and clutter, yeah. I mean, that's, you had a professional stager come. Just curious, Bob, what's your price range? What is the house listed for?
Just under 700,000.
Oh, you got a nice place. Okay, congratulations, you got a nice place.
A lot of nice things. We've got a lot of antiques. We lived in Europe for a while.
Cool.
We bought some lovely paintings and things. So, we're kind of, when somebody says we want to have an open house, well, is it really going to do anything to sell our house? I mean,
yeah, good
I don't know.
question.
What do you-
So basically, with an open house, there's two ways I look at it. One is no, it will not sell your house. For most people, that's the way they look at it. This is what I do for open houses. In your price point, open houses have to be done a little bit differently than, say, in a $250,000 or $300,000 price point where you're just trying to get a ton of traffic. In those price points, we get so much traffic to where the one person that does want to buy it says, wow, look at all these people. Your price point, how many people are actually qualified to buy, in the Clarkston area, to buy a $700,000 house? Not a lot, right?
I don't want a bunch of strangers coming by Bob's
to have
house.
a bunch of strangers coming in is wild. So basically, a broker open, I think, would be a better idea for you to get all the local brokerages, local agents out to take a look at the property. You give them some nice food, some wine, some water, whatever, and have a really professional broker open to expose your house to everybody there, so it's in their brain to look around. Now, that's stuff you since you're under contract with an agent, you can talk about. Obviously, the contract that you signed is probably binding for the length of time you signed it, and that's why there are times where it's good to do your homework and research in advance, Bob. And I know that if you're not satisfied, just tell the agent. I'm sure they'll fix whatever problem or attempt to, and sometimes you got to get after them a little bit and say, this is my house, and go from there.
Yeah, it's a surprise that's not a good match. Bob, any comments? What do you got left?
That's about it. I mean, I appreciate your comments and going through it, but the broker open house, absolutely. We've done that in the past. And, you get the right people coming through to gain a familiarity with the house. So, they get prospective buyers, they can say, okay, I've got what you may be looking for.
There you go.
And what we've gone through so far with these open houses to everybody walking off the street, you don't know if you've got qualified buyers. You don't know
that's not good.
People looking at what you've got because they're going to break in and steal our nice paintings and things, and you just get nervous about that.
Well, you're too high of a price point to just have people coming in.
Yeah.
At that price point, Andy, we've also done broker opens where we invited financial planners.
Yeah.
And brought other type of people that were...
Because they have the contacts, too. Hey, Bob, thanks for the call. We appreciate
Bob.
it. Go on, Sean. No, it's a great point.
Having people that know people that net worth in that market that would potentially be able to bring a buyer to the table.
Yeah, a lot of times word of mouth will get a house sold. I mean, that's my cousin last year. That's how he stumbled upon his house. One comment led to another, and before you know it,
when you're selling a house, all you're trying to do is find the right buyer. So you got to look at the house, $700,000 house. Where am I going to find my right buyer? Well, first of all, income. You got to have somebody on the other side that's got a good amount of income to qualify for a $700,000 house. Where are those kind of jobs at, right? You look in the Clarkston area, how many jobs are there? Most of the people that live in Clarkston in those houses, they're execs, from Chrysler.
There you go.
Somewhere like that, right? So you start leveraging some of those contacts and find those higher price buyers that way.
There you go. 248-539-9797. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Hey, we offer every type of mortgage, whether you're looking at a 3% down conventional, 3.5% down FHA, 0 down USDA, 0 down VA loans. We've got them all for you, Capital Mortgage. And, of course, our jumbo loans are priced unbelievably. Definitely give us a phone call if you're looking at getting a mortgage. We'll show you ways to save money and really provide that professional service. I think we often talk about rates and closing costs. At the end of the day, everyone's pretty close. I mean, they are. The difference is what we see is the communication and dealing with real professionals that really provide that top-notch service. That's the difference, I think, in anything. So be sure to call Capital, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Of course, the Mishta program is still happening. I want to throw this out there. The Mishta program, there was two of them. The gangbuster one this year was the Step Forward program, where the government went ahead and sent every state $20 million. What we did here in the state of Michigan was we used it for 61 zip codes, and the families were allowed to go ahead and apply for this if you qualified, and you were able to get a down payment assistance of $15,000. Well, that, folks, ran out of money. It was a great program. It just ended last week, but we still have the $7,500 program through Mishta. I had the executive on the phone yesterday. I had a couple of tough calls with them early in the morning, and then one of the head honchos gave me a call in the afternoon. What a great program. It's unbelievable. You do a housing counseling program. You get a second. It's a quiet second
You
mortgage,
always seem
Sean.
to find a way to get to the top, Harvey.
Somehow
you know
the guy
all the
called me.
executives.
I don't know what I said. I was talking, and when I was talking to the other people, I was talking about our roads and everything else. I think the ladies are ready to hang up on me.
You always know how to get through the phone to our tops of our office.
I'm up there going, hey, who's going to fix the roads next time? And all this and that. Anyways, let's move on to some calls here. We got Darren calling in from, I think, Northville. Good morning, Darren. Welcome to our show. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Go ahead. What's your question?
I refinanced with you guys 6 months ago.
Yes.
And my loan was sold.
Okay.
And I got a phone call this week, and they offered me a half-point rate reduction at absolutely zero cost.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we would do those for you too, but I'll tell you, and we definitely want to go through. The servicers are allowed to do that here, so that's good news. Let me ask you a question. What's your current rate now?
It was 5.25.
Okay, was it an FHA loan or a conventional?
Yes. Yep.
FHA
rate. Cash out refi.
Okay. Yeah,
so
you're
I paid down my credit card. I'm in great shape. My credit's good, and I got the disclosure, and I looked at it, and I couldn't believe there's actually a $200 surplus that he's going to put in my escrow.
Well, slow down there, Darren. Before you get too excited, I'm the guy with the good news and the bad news. I think I'd rather get involved with you and find out what we got going on. So this keeps happening across the United States where loans are being sold. So these servicers, some of them are offering mortgages up. But so often, you mentioned you currently have an FHA loan. We don't want you to get another FHA loan. That would be called an FHA Streamline. And I know it sounds fine and dandy, and I know what he's selling you. Yeah, here's the problem. We're not going to tack on more money onto your loan. I'll give you another FHA loan. An FHA loan carries MIP for the lifetime of your loan. If you've got equity in the house, Darren, which I bet you do because you did a cash-out refinance, that means you had 85% loan to value. You already had 15% equity maybe a year or two ago. It's time to switch you to a conventional mortgage. And as long as you left your number, I'm going to follow up with you. We'll find out who you're working with. And I can tell you this, we typically are able to beat any offer out there. So I'm glad they at least solicited you for the call, but I'd rather see you switch from an FHA loan to a conventional loan and get rid of all that mortgage insurance. That'll save you more money. So it's a great call, Darren.
Yeah, it's important to do your due diligence.
There you go. Darren, I'm glad at least they got you excited about it. We'll definitely follow up right after the show, and thanks for the call. All right, I think we lost him there. Hey, 248-539-9797. It's 9:42. Good morning. If you're just waking up, give us a phone call. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show, 9:45. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. All day long, you can find us at the office at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. A whole bunch of us are headed out to the Cottage and Lakefront Living Show. That's out at the Suburban Showcase out there in Novi. Really fun stuff. John, there's a boat show there. Can I keep you in the booth?
Oh,
you're going to be shopping for boats and stuff.
We're going to be shopping for Becky will be out there. Becky Alley from our office. Go see the gorgeous Becky Alley.
There you go.
She'll be out there at 10 a.m. And then Harvey and I will be there from 1 to 5. Come see us. Say hi. You know,
not so gorgeous, but loud. We'll be there.
Oh, we're not gorgeous. No. We're hard to look at. That's why we're on the radio.
That's good.
Yeah, faces for radio, gentlemen.
But it's also about second homes, Harry, too, which is fun stuff. You know, vacation homes and second homes. It's a really fun show.
Listen, up north in the Lower Peninsula and the Northern Peninsula of Michigan with all the lakes, you could not find a better place to have a second home. People go up north. We talk about, here we use the term, where are you going for the weekend? We're going up north. Up north. That's what we do.
And no one ever asks where up north is.
We know, up north. Yeah, where are you going up north? Okay, that's how we talk around here because it's such a big part of our, growing up and our lexicon and just our lifestyle. So we're exhibiting at the show. And I think we're going to meet a lot of people out there. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of other exhibitors out there. Come out and check us out It's at the Suburban. Is that where it's at?
Yeah, they call it the Suburban Showcase out there collection.
Yeah.
And
What do I know? I just know how to get there.
It's a big building. What's also cool about it is, and you see this with a lot of situations, is, when you buy a second home, John, not your family necessarily, but more and more families, they do rent them out on occasion. So it could be a second home with your family, and you're buying it as a vacation home. 10% down is all that's required. And then you might find that you rent it to friends or family. And this is what people do in the future. And again, if you buy the right property, whether it has some lake privileges or just in the right area where you can maybe even walk to a little downtown area, you generally can do pretty well on these. Again, if you have the money, it's something you want to take a look at, we'll run the numbers for you. If it makes sense, sometimes you can grab 2 or 3 families can get together and buy these. But this is what we see this time of the year. You get a little taste. If you go up north right now and you get a little taste of it.
Hey, families for years and years have gone up north, and they've found these vacation homes, these cottages, and John has one. And he spends a fair amount of time up there. But the best part for me is watching John when he takes his brother up there, when he takes his nieces and nephews and everybody there, and they have a great time on the lake, and you're just hanging out. That's what you do. You just kind of hang out, and you create those lasting memories for families up there. And in the summertime in Michigan, no better place than being up north.
I mean, it's so hard to get everyone together at one time anymore that if you have a place that you can all go to and just relax and the kids can run around and nobody has to be stressed out, it just makes for a great time. And, it changes your family dynamic from family to now you're all best friends as well. And that's the most important thing for me, that, you get out there and you get to spend some time with your family and friends and just, make memories.
Yeah, get to suck in some fresh air up there and maybe get, defuse a little bit. Yeah, the pressures of everyday life here in the hustle and bustle of Southeast Michigan, it can catch up with you.
Not to mention the awesome golf courses up north.
Oh, yeah. So we got lakes.
And like you said, Harvey, you can take one of those properties and rent it out for one of the busy weekends or a busy week, and you can make your mortgage payment for 6 months.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of more and more of that happening. Hey, Kyle, a couple things I wrote down are fun. Of course, the pride and joy of Plymouth High School here, Kyle Link from Remax Dream Properties. Kyle, I know all your friends are listening. So how do you get on 97.1? Here's how you do it. You become a successful real estate agent. You work hard, honest, and all those great things that you do. What do you like most about being a real estate agent? Of course, you got a lot of young buyers you're working with, too, which is fun.
Yeah, it's just my wife and I, we enjoyed the process so much of becoming homeowners. We became homeowners at a relatively young age, and I was doing something else before I got into real estate, and I just said, I've been thinking about trying this for a while, and once I got in, I realized I was able to help multiple families, multiple people make this first solid investment, and that's my favorite thing, is trying to set my people up for success for their future.
Yeah, that's really the key. That's some of the language that we use, is setting you up for successful home ownership. And that's why we bring up things like that. These property taxes, we're not trying to scare anyone off of home ownership. Right. What we're saying is, a buyer beware. Understand that these things can happen. Yeah, you could have a flood in your backyard if you didn't know, if you have a low grade, or that property taxes can go up on you.
So, Harvey, we did get that text right now. It's on there, and it says, listen, he's a property owner. He wants
They hook you up with these great inspection companies and the right title company. And Sean, I promise you get to bore everyone with your title talk.
Title's not always the most exciting thing to talk, but
it could protect your bud. Hey, before we go to Sean and that, let's move out to Joe. Joe, you got a question. You're selling in Michigan and buying in Florida, so let's hear about it.
Yeah, so good morning, first of all.
Hey, good morning to you.
Good
Thanks.
morning, Joe.
But, my job recently changed, and I have the ability to kind of work as long as I'm near an airport. So we've been talking about moving to Florida for quite a while, and now I think we're ready to pull the trigger within the next 8 to 12 months. So
great. I just got my Florida license, so hopefully I can do your mortgage down there right here in your own backyard.
Okay, and that's really what we were looking for, was somebody that we can deal with one person and sell in Chesterfield, where we're at now, and then also purchase in Florida. And to be honest with you, we've really never obviously we've never purchased out of state before, so I'm really not sure how that process goes, or if it's any different than Michigan to Michigan.
Yeah, just a little bit different. Actually, they have an extra tax down there, the intangible tax down there, so they collect a little bit more money. They don't have a state tax there, so they found a way to use real estate to bring revenue to the state of Florida. Just curious, what cities are you looking at when you move down there?
We'd like to stay in the greater Orlando area, maybe Lakeland area as well. But
yeah, you want to go watch the Tigers in spring training? That's awesome.
Well, Andy knows his team.
I know that turf down there.
There you go.
Question: with your company, are they offering you some kind of benefit for relocating, Or is this a move for just you and your family that they're not a part of?
Yeah, it's just a move for me and my family that, they're not mandating that I move. It's up to me, given the fact that I can, as long as I'm near an airport
That makes sense. Yeah, so the first step is obviously let's see how much equity you have in your house. See what the current value of your home might be. Get with Harvey on the mortgage side, and we can put together a game plan for you as far as, and even referring you an agent in the Orlando area as well.
And Andy, getting out to that house to take a look at it, see what's available, give them more buying power.
I'm actually going to Chesterfield to do showings today. It's funny. Maybe I might have a client for you.
Hey, Joe, is it okay if I share your phone number with Andy afterwards? And again, if you'd be interested in having a professional real estate agent, the first step is just give you an idea of what's going on with your current home. And
no obligation.
Yeah, there's no obligation. I think that's always the first step. And you can follow up with me, too. I'll give you a phone call just to run some numbers with you. If you want to work with us, we'd love to have you on board. Again, I think it's just about building your knowledge. And then, of course, you got to get down there with a qualified real estate agent and find out what the ins and outs are of the areas you're looking at.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. And the only reason why I'm really starting this far in advance is I listen to your show quite frequently on the weekends. And I remember, probably about a month or so ago, you had said, if you're looking at moving a year from now, get the ball rolling early and
absolutely
instead of waiting until the last minute. So, feel free to share my info, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the future.
Joe, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
and good
Joe.
luck to you, whatever you decide. These are the calls we like to take, and that's just it. Whether or not you decide to come on board with us or not, again, we would love to have everyone out there, but that's not always a match. And sometimes, even though we think we're the best, whatever it is in your mind, it might not be a match. Andy, talking about you threw it out there about commissions and everything's negotiable. I think that's cool. Like if you listed your house and you got promised the sweet nothings, and you saw that agent on every book. They might be great marketers, but at the end of the day, they don't answer questions. They don't pick up the phone. You can negotiate and say, look, after 2 months, if we don't have this house sold, or if we're going to part ways.
Yeah.
I like having that open-end contract. Hey, look, if I'm not your best mortgage guy, and after a month or so of working with me, and I don't return your phone calls, you haven't found a house, hey, work with someone else. Okay, we shake hands and you move forward.
I am so in it for the client. It's the way it should be done. I have a very high moral conviction with the things that I do, just based on my personality type and the person I want to be in life. I want to treat others how I would like to be treated. If at any time my clients know, hey, Andy, you're not doing the job, just tell me why. I ask first that how can I help you? How can I help more, or what do I need to do? Just open line of communication. And if not, sometimes parting ways. That might be it. And my brokerage loves me enough to say, you know what, Andy, we understand that you're trying to do the best for everybody in every situation, and if that's what it takes, hasn't happened yet, but if it ever came to that, we will definitely talk about it.
Well, it's important to understand that everybody has a situation, and when I say that, what I mean is I understand some people need as much money out of their house as possible, but finding a realtor who is trying to get to the race to the bottom, taking the lowest level of commissions, you don't get the highest level of service.
Not always.
Never.
That's for sure.
And I totally always have to deal with that. When I have buyers and sellers calling me and saying, hey, I can't get in touch with my realtor, you look at the commission base, you see it's at 1%. They stopped answering their phone.
You get what you paid for. Yeah. Exactly. And a lot of times, again, if something's discounted, maybe you could get a few more thousand for your house. So, on one hand, you're looking at it like, hey, I'm going to pay less in commission, but maybe they don't bring enough to the table where you're able to get that $10,000 or $15,000 more out of the house.
Maybe it's an agent who doesn't have that business built up yet to have the people to bring into the house.
Hey guys,
doesn't have the contacts.
Hey, I brought some little stats about Michigan here. How about this one? The 10 best places to raise a family in Michigan. Now, I don't know if this is the gospel here, but let's name them anyways. South Lyon, hey, congratulations to you folks. Birmingham, Rochester, New Baltimore, Monroe, Owasso, Clawson, Ionia, Troy, and Berkeley made it. Hey, and the criteria was best place to raise family was based on low crime, great schools, distance to major cities, the percent of households with, I don't even know what I wrote down there, but family-friendly amenities. And again, whether one of those cities is where you live, or if you think you're going to move to one of the new cities that's becoming up and coming, congratulations. There's so much Michigan has to bring to you. We do have a lot of cool cities here.
I'm pretty sure Berkeley's where Harry Glanz went to high school.
Oh,
too, isn't
boy,
it?
you got to throw that out there, but for sure. But again, the data is always brought to you by the U.S. Census, FBI data, and it's about a high quality of life here. And I'll tell you, we got some great things coming here with spring around the corner. Of course, the crystal clear lakes, golf courses everywhere. Just Michigan's a great place. I mean, Andy, you didn't grow up here.
Nope.
Not so shabby. Not so shabby.
Michigan's great. The Four Seasons, you can't beat it. The people here, they're loyal. That's the first thing I ever ask out of anybody is just honesty and loyalty. And people in Michigan have that. People in Michigan, for the most part, they have it. They still have ingrained in them those Midwest values, right?
There you go. That's what makes us all feel good. Even an outsider here. Now we invited you in. You're formally a Michigander. 3 years with the Tigers, you're a Michigander, Andy. There's no
Thank
going
you.
back.
I'm glad I'm a Michigander now.
Hey, none of you real estate brokers have declared this a buyer's market quite yet, have you? Okay,
It's
so
compared to what we've seen. you know, but it's softened to the seller side. I think national statistics have proven that as well, that home values are stabilizing to a decline right in there somewhere. Are they dropping? Not at a significant rate. It's still a great time to sell.
All right, if you've got a great house out there, definitely give us a phone call. We'd love to get it listed for you. Call Andy Dirks, Berkshire Hathaway in Clarkston. And Sean, I know we promised to have you back to talk title insurance, Sean.
Hey, sometimes it doesn't happen that way.
Sean Locke from Title Partners. Always a great job and a great company. So thanks a lot, Sean.
Hey, we love working with FSBOs, for sale by owner packages, refis. We do the full service, and we'll take you to the end. We're a family-owned company, and we traditionally want to make everything as perfect as possible for you.
Great stuff. I want to thank you guys for coming in. All right, keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. For these great gentlemen, Andy Dirks, for Sean Locke, I'm Harvey Free. We'll see you next Saturday.